I caught my fiancé lying about his business trip, so I played along and exposed his double life. I caught my fiancé lying about his business trip, but instead of confronting him, I decided to play along. He smiled, kissed me goodbye, and promised he'd call when he landed. He had no idea that I already knew everything. And by the time he came home, his entire life would be over. How it started. I'm 29, and I've always thought I was one of those lucky ones. You know, the person who somehow manages to find the stable, dependable partner that everyone else warns you doesn't exist. That was Adam. He was 32, successful, charming, funny in that quiet, understated way that made people trust him instantly. We met 5 years ago in a coffee shop. One of those cliché, movie-like encounters where two strangers reach for the same muffin. He laughed, said something like, "You take it, I'm watching my carbs anyway," and I remember thinking, wow, he's actually nice. He was polite, kind, the kind of man who opened doors, remembered details, and made you feel like the only person in the room. He called when he said he would, texted every morning. My friends used to joke that I'd won the boyfriend lottery. After a year, we moved in together. 3 years later, he proposed during a weekend trip to the mountains. I said yes without hesitation. He cried when I did. I thought that meant something. If you'd asked me then, I would have said I trusted him completely. I would have sworn up and down that he'd never hurt me. Because why would he? We built a life together, a home, a future, plans for a family someday. He knew every insecurity I had, and he made me feel safe anyway. That's what made what happened next feel like free falling through glass. The business trip. Adam travelled for work pretty regularly. He was in sales for a tech company, so conferences and client meetings were normal. Sometimes it was New York, sometimes Chicago, occasionally Seattle. He'd be gone for a few days, come home with a mug or a postcard, and tell me stories about late dinners with clients and boring PowerPoints. I never doubted him. So when he told me one Tuesday morning that he'd need to fly to Seattle for a last-minute conference, I didn't even blink. We were sitting at the kitchen table. He had his tie half done, coffee steaming next to him. He said it like it was no big deal. "Just a few days," he said. "I'll be back Sunday night." I asked the usual questions: who was going, what it was for, and he answered smoothly. But there was this small hesitation when I asked who he'd be travelling with. He said, "Just me this time. Matt's staying behind to train the new hire." That pause, that tiny moment before he said Matt's name, made something twist inside me. It was nothing obvious, just wrong. You know when your gut just whispers, "Pay attention." That was it. I pushed it aside, told myself I was being paranoid, but that night something else happened. The first red flag. We were watching TV when his phone buzzed. He smiled when he read the message, typed something quickly, and set the phone face down. Normally I wouldn't care. We both respected each other's space, but he'd been doing that a lot lately, checking messages, smiling, hiding the screen. I tried to ignore it, but curiosity ate at me. So I said half-jokingly, "Who's got you smiling like that?" He chuckled, didn't look up. "Work stuff, you'd be bored." Something about his tone felt dismissive, like he'd practiced it. The next few days he was oddly sweet. He made me breakfast, left sticky notes on my mirror saying things like "love you more than coffee and can't wait to come home to you." It almost felt too perfect. Looking back now, I realize he was smoothing over his guilt. The night before his flight, he made dinner, actual dinner, not takeout. Pasta, wine, music. He told me I was the best thing that ever happened to him, that he couldn't wait to marry me. It would have been the most romantic night of my life, if he hadn't left his laptop open on the couch while he showered. The laptop. It started with an email notification that popped up on his screen. The subject line was short, casual, but strange enough to catch my eye. Airbnb reservation confirmation, Miami, FL. Miami, not Seattle. At first I thought maybe it was a mistake, maybe the company was sending him somewhere different, but then I opened it. The email was from the host, welcoming him and his partner for their stay. "Hope you and your partner enjoy your stay. The sunsets from the balcony are incredible." My throat went dry. "Check-in date tomorrow. Guests too." I scrolled down and saw his name, his personal email, his phone number. There was no doubt it was him. Then I opened his messages. He wasn't signed out of them, which almost made me laugh, the arrogance of it. There she was, saved as J. Red Heart. I clicked the conversation, the most recent message read. "Jay, can't wait to see you again, I'll bring the wine." Adam told her it's a work trip, a whole week to ourselves. I felt sick. Physically sick. I scrolled up, the messages went back weeks. Flirty, intimate, detailed. References to dinners, hotels, private jokes I didn't understand. He told her things he used to tell me, word for word. He reused the same lines. I remember sitting there, frozen, hearing the water still running in the shower, my own reflection on the laptop screen staring back at me like a stranger. Then I did what any woman who's had her world implode does, I took screenshots. Every text, every email, every timestamp. I sent them to myself, uploaded them to a cloud folder and logged out. When he came out of the shower, towel around his waist, smiling at me like everything was fine, I smiled back. I kissed him, told him to have a safe trip, and decided that I wasn't going to confront him, not yet. The flight. The next morning, I drove him to the airport. He kissed me at the drop-off, said he'd call when he landed. I watched him disappear into the terminal, suitcase rolling behind him, and waited until he was out of sight. Then I opened Find My iPhone. We'd always shared locations for safety. I'd forgotten about it, apparently so had he. 10 minutes later, the dot moved. Then again. Then finally it pinged, Miami International Airport. Not Seattle. Miami. I remember laughing in the car. The kind of laugh that comes out shaky, a mix between disbelief and rage. He hadn't even bothered to hide it. That was the moment I decided I wouldn't confront him. I wouldn't scream or cry or demand an explanation. I would play along. Let him think he'd gotten away with it. And when the time was right, I'd destroy the illusion he built. The plan. The first few days were easy. I acted normal, texted like usual. Me, how's Seattle, still raining? Adam, yeah, typical Seattle weather, boring meetings all day, miss you. He even sent me a photo of coffee in a hotel cup, probably something he found online. I saved it anyway. Meanwhile, I started preparing. I copied all our joint account statements, took screenshots of financial transactions, and transferred my savings into a private account under my name. I called the wedding planner, and cancelled every reservation that had been made in my name only. The venue deposit, catering, photographer, gone. The only thing left was what he'd booked himself, and I knew that would come back to bite him later. I backed up everything on his laptop, including work files, just in case he tried to claim I'd tampered with something later. Then I called my best friend, Jess. She listened in silence as I told her everything. When I finished, she said, "You're not crying." I said, "I think I'm past that." Then she said something I'll never forget. "Make him watch it all fall apart, slowly." Following him. 3 days later, I booked a flight to Miami. I told my boss I needed a mental health break, took 2 vacation days, packed light, jeans, sneakers, sunglasses, and a camera. I landed late afternoon, checked into a hotel 2 blocks away from his Airbnb. From my balcony, I could see the street below, lined with palm trees and pastel buildings. I didn't have to wait long. The next morning, around 10 a.m., I saw him. Adam, walking hand in hand with a woman. She was beautiful, blonde, tan, probably late 20s. She wore a sundress and smiled like she didn't have a care in the world. I took pictures, videos, not for revenge, for evidence, because I knew someday he'd try to twist the story. They spent the day at the beach, ate lunch at a cafe, walked back to the Airbnb. I watched from across the street. My heart was pounding the entire time, but not from heartbreak, from focus. That night, I sat on my hotel bed and watched the footage. It was surreal, like watching a stranger who just happened to look like the man I loved. The way he touched her, the way he looked at her, it was all practiced, polished, empty. I didn't cry, I just felt this deep, hollow calm, the kind that comes when you stop pretending everything is okay. Coming home. When he came back, he looked relaxed, turned happy. He brought me a Seattle mug, a souvenir from a city he never visited. He told me stories about rainy streets, dull meetings, and how much he missed me. He even complained about the hotel coffee. I smiled, nodded, asked him questions, played the perfect fiancé. He kissed my forehead and said, "You're too good for me." For once, he was telling the truth. Over the next week, I started moving things quietly. I packed small boxes at night when he was at the gym, stored them in my car trunk, and dropped them off at my mum's house. Then I made a decision. I would expose him. Not just to me, to everyone. The engagement dinner. A few weeks later, I told him I wanted to have a small engagement dinner. Something intimate, with both our families and close friends. He loved the idea, said he'd invite his parents and sister. I told him I'd handle the restaurant. I booked a private dining room, classy but cozy, enough for 12 people. The staff set up a projector and screen, for what he thought was going to be a photo montage of our relationship. The day of the dinner, I dressed up. Not for him, for me. I wore the dress he loved, the one he'd bought me for our anniversary, because I wanted him to remember what he lost when he looked at me. Everyone arrived, his parents, his sister, my mom, Jess, a few friends. The energy was light, cheerful. Adam looked happy, like a man living a lie too comfortably. We toasted to love and forever. Then I stood up and said, "Before dessert, I want to show you all something." I connected my phone to the projector, the screen went black. Then the first clip played, Adam walking on the beach, hand in hand with another woman. The room went silent. The only sound was the soft music still playing in the background. Then came the next video, him kissing her, laughing, holding her close. His mother gasped, his sister covered her mouth. Adam froze. His face drained of colour. He stood up and whispered, "Emily, what is this?" I looked at him and said calmly, "Your business trip." He tried to grab the remote. I stepped back. Don't bother, everyone's seen enough. Then I turned to his parents and said, I just thought you all should know before we waste any more money on a wedding that's never going to happen. No one said a word. He just stood there, jaw clenched, eyes darting around the table like maybe there was still a way out. There was. I took my purse, thanked the waiter and walked out. The fallout. He called me 37 times that night. Left voicemails ranging from apologies to excuses to outright rage. You're overreacting. It didn't mean anything. It was a mistake. I still want to marry you. I didn't answer. When I finally unblocked him a week later, I got a long email, 5 paragraphs of justification. He said he'd been confused, lonely and tempted. That it only happened once. He wrote, "You're the love of my life. Please don't throw everything away over something stupid." I didn't reply. A month later, I found out through mutual friends that Jay, whose name was actually Jessica, a co-worker from his office, had dumped him too. Apparently he told her I was his ex. When she found out the truth, she ended it immediately. Karma works quietly sometimes. His parents reached out to me afterward. His mom cried on the phone. She said, "You didn't deserve this." I told her, "Neither did you." Because in a way, he lied to everyone, not just me. 1 year later. It's been a year since that dinner. I moved to a new city, started therapy and got a new job. I bought a small condo, painted every wall bright yellow. Jess said it looked like happiness reborn. Sometimes I still think about him, not out of love or longing, just reflection. There are days when I still catch myself wondering how someone could fake love so completely, how someone could build an entire life around lies and still sleep at night. But mostly I feel peace. I don't need closure from him, I gave it to myself. Because the moment I stopped trying to understand his betrayal, I started reclaiming my own story. Final thought. People ask if I regret what I did. If I regret exposing him in front of his family. No. I think there's something poetic about letting a liar live inside their own illusion long enough to believe it, and then tearing it apart, piece by piece, while they watch. He thought he was clever. He thought he could juggle 2 lives and never get caught. He forgot that the woman who trusted him the most was also the one who knew exactly how to destroy him when he broke that trust. Sometimes revenge isn't loud. It's quiet, patient, surgical. And sometimes it's as simple as showing the truth when the world's watching. So Reddit. Would you have confronted him right away? Or would you have done what I did? Let him think he'd won, let him smile, let him live comfortably in his lie. Until the moment you showed him that the game was over. Because for me, watching a liar destroy himself was the closure I didn't even know I needed. TLDR, my fiancé told me he was going on a business trip to Seattle. I found out he was actually going to Miami with another woman. I gathered evidence, pretended to know nothing, and exposed him in front of both our families during our engagement dinner. Cancelled the wedding, moved on, and built a better life.
Am I the asshole for not going to the birthday dinner my grandparents were hosting for me? I've just turned 18, and my grandparents, my mom's parents, had arranged for the entire family to go to this fancy sushi restaurant near where we lived. They invited everyone but my stepmom. I love sushi. However, I love my stepmom, Katie, more, and I really wanted her to be there. Katie married my dad 5 years after my mom died, and she's never once tried to replace my mom. When it's mom's birthday, Katie makes mom's favourite meals for all of us to share, and she's genuinely interested in hearing our stories about mom. She's actively kept mom's memory alive. It's something my brother and sister are grateful for. Even if Katie had been invited, she has a severe fish allergy and she can't risk any cross-contamination. You're not that asshole. Like, I know you said that you love sushi, but I think the reason they chose this specific restaurant was because of Katie's allergy. They knew she wouldn't be able to come. I asked my grandparents if we could move the dinner to another restaurant so that Katie could also attend, as I wanted her there. And I suggested a steakhouse because I'd rather have Katie there than have sushi. They said no, they didn't want someone like Katie there. What do you mean? Now what the fuck is that supposed to mean? Long before Katie and my dad got together, Katie was an addict. It's not something that she's kept from us and we all know about it. She's spoken about it at church, which is how my grandparents know. She's been clean for over a decade. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious? No, I wouldn't want to sit at a dinner table and eat with people like this any fucking way. No, my love, you are absolutely not the asshole. They also told me that Katie isn't my mom and that she needs to stop acting like it. This is your late mom's parents talking like this. Instead of them being excited and over the moon at the fact that their grandchildren has a woman in their life that loves them so much, she's actively keeping their mother's memory alive. They are upset that this woman has a past but chose to better herself. Are you kidding me? Katie's better than them and they know it and they can't fucking stand it. My dad even spoke with them. They reiterated that they didn't want Katie there. Katie told me she understood why I wanted her there, but I shouldn't burn bridges with my grandparents. Your grandparents are the one that are burning and blowing up all the fucking bridges. They are the ones that are pouring the kerosene and lighting the fucking match. They strap the goddamn C4 to the shit and press the button. Kaboom, they are the ones that are doing this. They are actively trying to keep someone that is important to you away from an important birthday dinner. You just turned 18, that's a milestone. They are purposely doing this. They are the ones. You are not doing anything, my love. Katie said that we could always celebrate another time as a family. Me, her, and my dad, my brother and my sister, my stepsister, and my twin have siblings. On the day of the dinner, I told my dad that I wasn't going if Katie couldn't attend. Period. Stay on your ground, baby. Hold firm, hold firm. I told my dad that if the person who I consider my bonus mom, who chose to love us equally and puts our happiness above her own, isn't invited, then I'm not going. My dad said he understood and that he would handle my grandparents. He called them that morning and told them that none of us would be attending as I've made the decision that I didn't want to go if Katie couldn't come. Since the day of the dinner, I've had messages from my mom's family saying that I've been brainwashed by Katie and my dad to forget who my real family are. No, my love, your real family are the ones who act like it. These people aren't acting like family. You didn't fucking forget, and how the fuck could you forget when they worked so goddamn hard to remind you? I know Katie has abusive messages from them as well. I heard her crying last night as she and my dad talked about some of the messages that she received. Even my younger brother and sister have gotten messages telling them that this whole mess is Katie's fault. My grandparents have threatened to sue my dad for custody of my younger brother and sister, 16 and 15 again. Apparently they tried and failed to sue for custody when my dad and Katie got together because of Katie being a former addict. I'm starting to feel like this is my fault because I refused to go to the meal. So am I the asshole? No, my love, you are absolutely not the asshole. Nothing that you said or did here makes you the asshole. Not at all. Not at all. You put a boundary in place and you held firm. When you were younger, there really wasn't much that you could do about it. But now you're 18 and you're letting your grandparents know that shit stops now. You will not treat her different around me and expect me to continue to come around. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. You are with your real family. You are, because if your grandparents truly loved you, their love for you would outweigh their hate for Katie. But it doesn't seem to be working that way. No, my love, you did absolutely nothing wrong. Your grandparents, on the other hand, oh, they suck. They're absolutely fucking disgusting. I know you said that you love sushi, but I know for a fact they picked that sushi restaurant because they knew it would make it harder for Katie to be around, despite the fact they never invited her in the first place. I don't give a fuck. I know they did that shit on purpose because they're absolutely gross people. Suing your father for custody of his children after his wife dies, because his new partner has a past, is absolutely fucking gross. A past, it was not her present, it was her past, meaning she was already choosing to be better, but yet she had a past and that was terrible for them. No, my love, no, you're not wrong. My favourite part about this story is that this is a successful blended family. I can probably count on one hand how many times I've come across stories like this because this is Reddit and we thrive on drama over here. But when I do see them, they always make my heart sing. A lady asked why I'm letting myself go. This happened like 2 hours ago, and I'm still kind of shaky but also weirdly satisfied. 34 female was at a Target in Minneapolis getting groceries. I've lost a bunch of weight recently, like 40 pounds in 3 months and not in a good way. I have stage 3 colon cancer, and the chemo makes me look like absolute hell. No hair, eyebrows gone, I'm wearing a beanie and I look sick because I am sick. So I'm in the produce section trying to figure out what I can eat that won't make me immediately nauseous when this woman, probably in her 50s, rolls up with her cart. She looks me up and down and goes, "Honey, are you okay? You look exhausted, I'm used to this." So I just smile and say that I'm fine, but she doesn't leave. She then goes on to say, "I don't mean to pry, but have you thought about maybe putting more effort into your appearance? I know us ladies can get comfortable, but men really do notice these things. My daughter let herself go after her second baby and her husband almost left her. Are you fucking serious? I would have cussed this bitch up and down the fruit aisle because you don't fucking know me. You don't fucking know me, and her poor daughter probably had postpartum depression, and this bitch over here talking about she let herself go. Oh my gosh. I'm just standing there holding a cantaloupe completely frozen, but she keeps going. A little makeup goes a long way, and there's some really nice wigs out there now if you're having hair troubles. You're still young enough to turn things around." Something in me just snapped. I turned to her and said very flatly, "I have cancer. Stage 3, the chemo makes me look like this. I'm trying to figure out if I can eat this melon without vomiting. My husband thinks I'm beautiful, anything else." Her face went white like it actually lost all colour. She started stammering. "Oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't know, I just thought I cut her off. You thought what, that I needed your advice? I'm just trying to buy groceries." She basically ran away, left her cart and everything. Now I'm home and a part of me feels bad because she looked genuinely horrified. Good for her, as she fucking should be. She doesn't know you from a can of fucking paint, but she chose to walk up to you without knowing you or your situation to give you beauty tips and tell you to not let yourself go. She 100% deserved to be fucking terrified. Fuck her. Maybe she'll learn to mind her goddamn business. But at the same time, fuck that noise. Don't comment on people's appearances. My husband says that she deserved it. My mom says that I was too harsh. I don't know. Your mom is wrong. Your mom is so fucking wrong. You were not harsh at all. This bitch deserved all and then some of the sass and attitude that you gave her because minding your fucking business is free. You don't walk up to a complete fucking stranger and start talking about their appearance. You don't know what the fuck is going on in that person's life. Why? Because that is a complete fucking stranger. I don't know when the fuck people became so goddamn comfortable to just randomly, unprompted, unasked for talk about someone's fucking body. But that shit needs to stop. It needs to stop. That shit is disrespectful as fuck and it's rude as hell.